Hello everyone. My name is Daniel. This is Daniel Lee Yoga. Thank you for joining me for class today. Today we're doing things a little bit different. First, I want to say thank you all for bearing with me for last week. Last week I took a week off just to take some time to just reflect on teaching and life and all that good stuff. And it's really been fun doing all of these videos with you all. And I really appreciate the time that I was able to take that week off and just reflect on all the classes, all the feedback that you've given me, and really just trying to learn my direction and where I'd like to take classes in the future. So with that said, there may be some changes in the future with classes. I know things might start opening up soon, but I am still planning to stream online for now for classes. And for tonight and this week, I'd like to do some more restorative focused classes. It's something that I've never taught before, restorative focused class, and it's something that I'd like to try. So please bear with me as I give this a shot this week, and I really appreciate you all joining me today for class. So as I said, it's going to be more restorative today, and it's a 60-minute class, but we're going to break it up. About half of it, maybe 30 to 35 minutes, will be restorative poses, and included in that, we will move a little bit in the middle for maybe 10 to 20 minutes, just to warm up our body a little bit. But most of the poses that we hold are going to be for maybe 2 to 4 minutes for each pose. So what will help us in all of these restorative poses are lots of props. So as I talk for the next minute or two, try to gather anything you have. You don't need blocks necessarily. I know everyone has pillows probably, so just grab a bunch of pillows. If you don't have blankets, you can use some towels. But really just gather anything and everything that you have that's comfy, that you think can be used, and if you think it can be used, it most likely can. Have it nearby. It's better to have more than less. So take a minute or two while I keep talking to get all that ready for today. So as far as the class towards the end, we will have some breath work. And after our breath work, we're going to finish class with a 10-minute silent meditation. I love the opportunity to give more meditation-focused classes in a more guided sense, but right now, I think a silent meditation would be nice for all of us. So for that last 10 minutes of class, if you'd rather just complete your practice before that, or if you'd like to do something else during that meditation, you're more than welcome. But I will be pretty much silent for those 10 minutes. So when you see me on screen not moving for 10 minutes, I'll be okay, but we'll all be doing it together. So as you grab your props, again, this is going to be all levels, more restorative focus. I've got Coney here. You can see the top of his butt. He'll probably be joining me in some of these poses. Oliver is somewhere around as well. I've also got music. Oh, hi, Lori. Thank you. I've also got music playing in the background. If it becomes a little too loud or too much, or you can't hear me, just let me know. I tried to change the sound levels and whatnot to make it okay. But yeah, I think last thing to mention, I updated the donation link. So I'm now linking to a, you'll see in the link that links to other links to fund racial justice. So go ahead and check out the description after the class, and if you'd like to donate, please donate your funds there. There's also links if you don't want to donate money as far as different actions you can take if you'd like to be involved in racial justice. So with all that said, let's go ahead and get started. So to start class, we will start in supported fish pose. So there's a lot of ways to set this up. You can use blocks, you can use props, but we will be on our back, supported with either blocks or blankets or props. So the first way I'll show you how to set that up is with the blocks. So if you have blocks, that can be your first option. Otherwise, next I'll show you with the blankets. So to start in supported fish pose, if you have blocks, you're going to place 2 blocks at the top of your mat. You're going to place them lengthwise. So the first block will be a little bit closer to the top. The second block will maybe be 4 to 6 inches away. And they can be on alternate heights if you want to put it up a little bit higher. But I would recommend, since we will be in this pose for a little bit longer, to start at least on the lowest height. And then you can adjust as you'd like. So once you have your blocks there, you're probably going to move them as you get settled in. But you're going to lie on your back. And the idea is to have your shoulder blades rest on this middle block here. And so it takes a second to just get settled in with the shoulder blades resting on that block. And also, if you have multiple blocks, you can place multiple blocks next to each other lengthwise to give you a little bit more area. And then you'll rest the back of your head on the block, on the other block. And once you're here, you'll let your arms fall out to the side, palms face up. So this is the first option with the block. So it's really key to have your shoulder blades resting on the block. So you don't want it on your middle back, you don't want it on your neck or the tops of your shoulders, just right on those shoulder blades. So that's the first option. If you have the blocks, take a moment to get settled in there. If you don't have the blocks, the next option will be to use your blankets or your towels. What I'd recommend is you make a nice long width. So if I'm starting with a full blanket here or a full like beach towel here, keep it on the shortest edge and fold it in half once, fold it again twice, and 3 times. So you have a nice long kind of like hot dog shape. Once you have that, place it on your mat. So it should be about half the width of your mat. And you want to make sure you even it out so that there's no real creases or anything, because we'll be here for a couple minutes. So once you have that, place that on your mat right in the center. And you'll just do the same thing. You'll just slowly rest back on the blanket. You have options. If you'd like to rest the back of your head on the blanket, you could keep it there. If you want to have the blanket down further and have your head off the mat, you can do that as well. Just see what kind of works for you. Again, there's no real specific science or alignment to this, so just do what just feels right. What we're looking for here is to open our chest. This is a heart opener, just a slight back bend here as we begin our practice. So you're either on your blocks or on your blanket. And if you're joining and you don't have any props or blankets that you want to use, just join us on your back. Either way, let your knees and your feet fall out to side, arms down to the side, and palms face up. Let's take a nice deep inhale together and exhale. Another inhale and exhale. Keep taking nice deep inhales and exhales. And again, while you get settled in here, try to release any little bit of tension you may have. You can still wiggle around. And once you do start to settle, maybe your gaze starts to soften or your eyes close completely. Again, if you're on the blocks and you feel like you want just a little bit more elevation, you can move that block under your shoulder blades up to the next height. Otherwise, just stay where you are. And while we're here, we'll begin our first pranayama practice in this position. It will be our Samavriti, our equal parts inhale and exhale breathing. So we're going to breathe in through our nose, and when we breathe, we'll exhale out through our nose. When you inhale, inhale deeply and completely, filling up your lungs, expanding the chest. And when you exhale, exhale everything out, contracting and lowering your belly. I'll count down through the breaths. Again, you can keep your eyes closed or your gaze softened if you'd like. Let's all begin by just exhaling out all the breath. Just exhale everything out from your lungs. And let's begin. Inhale through the nose. 3, 2, 1. Exhale through the nose. 3, 2, 1. Inhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Keep going if you'd like. You can count to yourself. Or if you'd like, you can just let your breath come back to normal breathing. We'll be here on our backs for a couple more minutes. So just make it your own. By beginning class in this heart opening pose and focusing on our breathing, it allows us to focus our awareness on the present moment now. You'll have the opportunity in the next 50-55 minutes throughout the rest of class to always come back to your breath. You can come back to this equal parts inhale and exhale. You can count in. You can count out. Or you can just let your breath be. Just take a couple more deep breaths here in this posture. And we're going to come gently out of this pose now. So take your time. And first start by gently bending your knees and bringing the bottoms of your feet to the mat. Next, you'll gently let your knees fall off to the left side. As you turn on to the left side, off of your props, just be very careful. And you're now lying on the left side of your body. From here, extend your left arm out and your right arm on top, and just use your hands as a pillow. for a moment here on your side. Let's take a deep inhale and exhale. Now remove whatever props you had that were on your mat. You can either remove your blocks or your towel off to the side. Keep them nearby, because we're now going to grab, I'll first show you with the blocks. So if you have your blocks, we're staying on our side here. You're going to place one block in between your knees, and if you have another, you can place another block in between your feet. So you're still staying on your side here. Now, if you don't have blocks and want to use your towel or your blanket, just same thing. Add some cushion in between your knees and in between your feet. Now we're going to make this into a twist. So, keep your legs where they are. You're now going to open up your chest, open up that right arm, and try to release that right shoulder down to the mat. So you're now looking up towards the ceiling. If your knees popped up off the mat, that's fine. Again, just place another block or a prop or a pillow, whatever you have to support your knee. Now with your right shoulder coming down to the mat, if it doesn't quite make it there, again, use another prop, most likely a blanket or a pillow, and put that underneath that right shoulder. Extend that left arm directly out to the side as like a half T shape here. And again, keep your gaze up towards the ceiling here, just adding a nice gentle twist. So just begin to settle in. You may need to move your feet or your knees around. Just try to keep your knees up at hip height here. Again, if you want to adjust, switch around your props. So we're in a supported twist here. Again, if you'd like, always have the option to soften your gaze or close your eyes. But in each of these poses, just make sure you're taking your time to become settled here. If it takes you just 2 minutes to get into the pose and you only get 1 minute to stay in it, that's better than taking all 3 minutes to rummage around while you try to get settled. So just take your time. Be here for another minute. Take a couple more deep breaths here. Now, keep your right shoulder rooted. Use your left hand to remove those props from out between your legs. Just place them off to the side, just make sure they're still close. With your right shoulder still rooted, bring your knees up and your feet back down to the mat. You can recenter your hips. So now your knees are above your ankles. Walk your feet in a little bit closer to align them underneath your knees. So with your feet hips width distance and your knees hips width distance above your ankles. Now again, the first option I'll show you as we come into our supported bridge pose is to use a block. So if you have a block, you're going to press down through your feet and lift your hips up and your pelvis up, your chest up, and then slide a block underneath. It can either be on its lowest height or its medium height. And you want to slide it right underneath your sacrum. So not quite your low back, a little bit lower, right under that sacrum. You'll feel right where those sit bones hit. And from here, arms down to the sides, palms face up. Now, if you don't have your block, you can either just stay here on your back, or if you want to fold up whatever props you have, either your blanket, your towel, or your pillow, you'll just do the same thing. You'll lift your hips up, you'll place your pillow, your towel, or your blanket underneath. Just let your arms rest down to the sides, palms face up. Just let your belly sink into whatever prop you're using. Again, just begin to deepen your breath here. Still want to keep your knees and your feet hips width distance, so try to avoid them coming into touch or flaring out to the side for now. Supported bridge pose. Let your shoulders be heavy. In the supported back bend, our heart is open again. We're allowing our chest and our collarbones to broaden, widen apart. Be here for another 30 seconds. Let's take one last breath here. And press your feet into the mat. Lift your hips up, pelvis up, chest up. Release whatever prop you're using off to the side. Just gently release from the top of your spine, low back last to arrive. Just stay here for a moment before we come onto our side. Now grab your props again. Try to set up just like you were on the other side. We're coming onto our side again. So you can start by placing the props in between your legs. I have a block between my feet and a pillow between my knees. And then just gently roll onto your right side this time. Use your hands as a pillow. We're just here for a couple breaths before we add our twist. And now keep your legs where they are. Begin to open that left arm out this time. So you're opening the chest, gaze comes up towards the ceiling. You're trying to release that left shoulder onto the mat. If those knees pop up, you can place a prop, blanket, anything you need to underneath your knees there. And if your left shoulder doesn't quite reach the mat here, again, you can place something underneath that left shoulder. As you start to just get settled in here, you can try to keep your knees up at least to hip height. In these poses, you want to be able to release. And again, it takes a couple seconds, maybe a couple minutes just to get settled in, to get to that point, but it's worth it. Just take the effort now to adjust, listen to your body, and do what it needs to settle. Again, your gaze can always soften or your eyes can close. And maybe you decide to come back to your equal parts inhale and exhale as you count down, or you just let the breath be. We'll be here for one more minute. Take a couple more nice deep inhales and exhales. And start by lifting your left arm up and rolling back over onto your right side just for a moment. The left arm comes on top of the right. Just make a gentle pillow to rest your head. Now remove the props from in between your legs. And roll over onto your back again with your knees bent. Let's take a moment here. Now gently hug your knees into your chest. You can wrap your hands around your thighs or your shins. Just give a gentle squeeze. We're now going to start to begin to add some movement into our practice. With your knees hugged in, you can gently rock from side to side. You may not move much here, but we're just gently massaging that low back. Try to hug your navel in and down as you rock from side to side, gently pressing that low back into the mat. Just a couple more times each side. And come back to center. Release your feet down to the mat. Let them fall off to the side. Either side works for you. I should say whatever side works for you. So you roll over onto your side. We're going to come up to a comfortable cross-legged seated position. So just take your time. Use your top arm to gently press yourself up. coming into our Sukhasana, our happiness or content pose, and that's our cross-legged seat. Now we'll be here for a couple minutes, so it's always a good idea to, if you'd like, sit up on a rolled up blanket or a couple blocks. So if you are using a block or two, you can place either one or two lengthwise, and then you can just gently lift yourself up onto those blocks. If you don't have your blocks and you're using your towel, you can do that as well. And if you don't have your towel or your blanket, you can always roll up your mat as well, just to give you a little bit of elevation that way. And we'll be here for a couple minutes, so it's good to just get settled in. And by elevating our seat here, it allows our pelvis to slightly tip forward. And really that makes it a little bit easier to stand up, or sit up straight here, I should say. Again, get nice and settled. Try to have your shins crossing at the midway with your feet below your knees. Place your palms on top of your knees once you get settled. Let's take an inhale together and exhale. One more inhale and exhale. Now we're going to work in another pranayama, and this breath work is called boxed breathing, or sometimes called square breathing, I've heard. And it will be similar to what we started class with, where we have equal parts inhale and exhale. We're going to add on to it and have equal parts holding the breath in and holding the breath out. So I'll demo it just to show you how it starts. So when I start, I will inhale 1, 2, then I'll hold in for 1, 2 seconds, then I'll exhale for 1, 2, then I'll hold out for 1, 2, and then I'll repeat the cycle. So follow along with me. We'll start with just very slow inhales and exhales, or a very short count, I should say. It's a lot more challenging than you think. You really do have to focus on your breath to try and equalize things. And I'll count through a couple times, and then I'll give you the opportunity to increase the counts if you'd like. Still try to breathe through your nose if you can. So just make sure you're nice and settled in your seat. And as far as your hands, you have a couple options. Your palms can rest on top of your knees. Your palms can face up. You can bring your palms into the center of your chest, or if you know of another mudra, or just anywhere where your hands are comfortable, go for it. So let's begin by, again, exhaling out all the breath. Exhale everything out. And begin. Inhale, 2, 1. Hold the breath in, 2, 1. Exhale, 2, 1. Hold the breath out, 2, 1. And repeat. Inhale, 2, 1. Hold the breath in, 2, 1. Exhale, 2, 1. Hold the breath out, 2, 1. Inhale, 3, 2, 1. Hold, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 3, 2, 1. Hold, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 3, 2, 1. Hold, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 3, 2, 1. Hold, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 3, 2, 1. Hold, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 3, 2, 1. Hold, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 3, 2, 1. Hold, 3, 2, 1. Exhale. 3, 2, 1. Hold. 3, 2, 1. Inhale. 3, 2, 1. Hold. 3, 2, 1. Exhale. 3, 2, 1. Hold. 3, 2, 1. Inhale. 3, 2, 1. Hold. 3, 2, 1. Exhale. 3, 2, 1. Hold. 3, 2, 1. Inhale. 3, 2, 1. Hold. 3, 2, 1. Exhale. 3, 2, 1. Hold. 3, 2, 1. Keep going. You can keep going on those counts. If you'd like to start to increase your counts as you get more comfortable. Or maybe the pace was a little too fast and you want to tone it down a bit. But give it a try. Your eyes may already have softened or your gaze closed. As you just tune into yourself here. Just know by focusing on your breathing, you're really practicing a self-awareness that allows you to really tune into yourself. And focus on just a crucial part of all of us. Just do another round or two. As you begin to finish, just come back to normal breathing. And your eyes can start to open if they're closed. We're now going to move to the wall. So if you have some wall space nearby, go ahead and find it. I'm going to use the wall behind me. It may look kind of invisible to you, but that's the wall that I'm going to use. You don't need much. You only need a couple feet. We're going to do legs up the wall here in a more restorative fashion. So this is nice because this is a restorative inversion that can allow us to really just kind of flip the script on ourselves. So to get set up, bring your props. Really, it's better to use blankets or a pillow in this. You can use your block if you'd like, but it's a little bit better to use something softer here. But blocks can still work, especially if you're more experienced in this posture. But once you come up to the wall, you can place your blanket or your pillow up to the wall. Just make sure it's up, touching the wall. And again, you can adjust the height as you like. I'm going to start with about maybe 6 inches here of elevation. I know once I sit on it, the pillow is going to fall a little bit, but that's what I'm going to start with. So you can adjust as you need to. Now, when we bring our legs up to the wall, we want our legs to be as close to the wall as we can. So it's a little tricky getting into it, but my trick here usually is to come up to the side of your props just like this. So I have the props behind me. And have your left knee and your left thigh and hip touching the wall. Once you have that, release your right arm down and then just start moving so that you're on your side. I know this looks kind of weird, but it'll make sense. So make sure you're still touching your props. Lie down onto your side, and then move your butt so that your butt touches the wall. So try to keep your butt touching the wall here on your side, and then you're going to roll over onto your back where your low back is now going to come on to your props, and then you'll raise your legs up to the wall. And so once you're here, you can start to adjust a little bit. Again, if it's too much or too little height, you can slide something in there or in underneath if you'd like, and then bring your legs up the wall. Once you bring your legs up the wall, have your feet hips width distance, and your feet can be either gently flexed or pointed, or they can just be as they are. If you'd like, you can use your arms and your elbows to wiggle a little bit closer. The idea is to get as close to the wall as you can. Now the first option is to stay here with your legs directly up towards the ceiling. Or if you'd like, you can begin to separate your legs out to the side and make this more of a wide angled legs up the wall. Now as far as your arms, they can be down to the sides close to the wall with your fingertips just kind of grazing the wall, or they can be overhead. Sometimes it's nice with your arms overhead. It allows your heart to just open up and allows your spine to stretch a little bit more here. But while this is a stretch, we do want this to be more restorative, so no pain. I want you to try not to struggle to stay into the pose. You want to be able to release and settle in. And again, while you're here, your gaze can soften, your eyes can close completely. And if this just isn't working for you with the props, you can always just do it without any props or blankets. I'll just show you again in case you're still having trouble getting close to the wall. It helps to just kind of put your butt up, put your feet there, roll over back onto your back, and then let your legs come up. You'll be here for a couple minutes, so just, again, take your time, deepening your breathing. You now have a couple options now if you'd like to come back to the Samavriti, what we practiced in the beginning. Just equal parts inhale and exhale. Or maybe that box breath, the square breathing, was a challenge that you want to go back into. Or if you're just happy to exist here and release any control over your breath or your body, you have that option as well. So whatever option you choose, just try to be authentic with it. Know that the option today may be different from what you need tomorrow. Just listen to your body. I should mention too, if your hamstrings are still a little bit tight, you may not be able to get as close to the wall, and your knees may need to bend a little bit. That's more than okay as well. We'll be here for another minute. Take another couple deep breaths here. Wherever you are, if your legs are wide, bring them back up to center, hips width distance apart. And then everyone gently start to bend your knees, let your feet fall down a little bit, and then you can let your knees fall off to your side. Just stay for a moment on your side. Then gently press yourself up. And we're coming onto our backs again. So have your props nearby. Going onto our backs in our last restorative pose here. Supta Baddha Konasana, supported bound angle. So when we're on our backs, we're going to bring the bottoms of our feet to touch and let our knees fall off to the side. Now, as far as making this a little more restorative, the idea here is to place some blocks. If you have them, you can place them underneath your knees on either side. Again, if you don't have your blocks and want to use your towel or your blanket or your pillows, you can do that as well. Some people don't even like to use blocks, or maybe the knees come down all the way to the mat. Whatever works for you. And then the final option is, if you have any blankets left or towels, if you want to place it over your chest. Sometimes just having a little bit of weight on your chest will allow you to kind of loosen a little bit of stress that you may have. A lot of people like the feeling of just more of like a weighted blanket or something to just kind of calm the nervous system. So if you have anything left to lie over your chest, go ahead and place it there. Have your arms down to the side, palms face up, back of the head to the mat. Again, your gaze can slowly start to soften, or your eyes can close. Keep settling in. We've done a lot of restorative poses today, and with this our last, just try to really be still here. So really take the time to work out any last little bit of kinks. You can start with your toes and your feet and just do a quick body scan up your legs and your torso and your chest. Relaxing the arms and the fingertips. Just gently letting the head hang heavy. Just really be still here. Keep taking nice deep breaths. And we're coming into the final part of our practice today, our silent meditation portion. You have the option to stay here if you'd like in your Supta Baddha Konasana. You also have the option if you want to take a traditional Shavasana pose, corpse pose. If you'd like to do that, you'll release the blocks out from underneath your knees and just begin to gently straighten your legs out and keep your arms down to the sides, palms face up. So those are two options. And a third option, which is the one I'd recommend you think about doing, is coming up to a comfortable cross-legged seated position. So if you're coming up to a cross-legged seat, you'll just gently roll over onto your side, releasing your props away and using your top arm to press yourself up. So the reason I suggest a cross-legged seat is for our silent meditation, basically you're less likely to fall asleep because you have to sit up straight during this. But you can still, if you want to stay on your back in Supta Baddha Konasana or Shavasana, that's your choice. If you are coming to a cross-legged seated position, try to remember how you cross your legs the first time at the beginning of practice and switch that crossing. If you don't remember, most likely you cross your legs in the same way, so go ahead and flip them. Maybe it's the least habitual way that you cross your legs. Try and even it out there. And since we'll be here for a couple minutes, go ahead and sit up on whatever works for you. I like sitting up on a towel here. You may like a block or two. Just whatever works for you. Try to root down through your sit bones, rise up through the crown of your head. Have a nice long spine here. And if you are sitting up, again, a couple options with your hands. Palms can face down. Palms can open up. Bring your hand to the center of your chest, or if you have any other mudra that you like to do with your hands, go for it. A lot of times with your palms facing down, you want to focus a little more internally and have the time to do that. With your palms facing up and out, that is kind of more of a signal to allow other energy or allow other people or thoughts to come into your space. But wherever you are, just make sure you're nice and settled in. We have about 6 or 7 minutes left to practice, so we'll use that time for our silent meditation. So I'll continue talking just for a couple more seconds. But as you begin to settle in, start to either close your eyes, soften your gaze, or maybe your eyes stay open and you focus on a point in front of you. If you ever start to fall out of your meditation, just come back to either your breath or even your posture, trying to sit up straight. Let's all just take a nice deep inhale together. And we'll exhale and stay in silence through the rest of our class. just begin to bring some awareness back into your body. If your eyes are closed, you can gently start to blink them open. Take a moment to come back into yourself. Let's all take a nice deep inhale together and exhale. If you're on your back, you can stay there if you'd like. We'll just complete our practice now. So I just want to say I want to thank everyone so much for joining me today in practice. The light and love in me acknowledges and honors the light and love in each and every one of you. Thank you. Peace. Thank you all so much for joining me, especially getting through that bit of silent meditation at the end. I'm not sure if you heard my cat Coney or not saying hi during that. I really appreciate all of you being here and giving me the opportunity to try a new style of teaching yoga. I just thought it was just very applicable to try something new this week that really gives us all the opportunity to have some different poses and breathing techniques to take with us in these stressful times. So if you're ever having trouble sleeping, we just did a lot of poses with props and blocks and pillows, so you should have a lot at your arsenal to try and restore yourself and settle yourself down. If you're ever in any situation where you just need to really think before you act, all those breathing techniques can really help as well. So again, I really want to thank you all for joining me. Again, I've changed the donation link to, if you'd like to fund racial justice, that link in the video description takes you to a web page that gives you lots of options if you'd like to donate your money, your time, or just find out more information on voting or anything that helps the cause. So again, I really appreciate you all being here. And if you have any questions or any feedback, please just let me know. You can either write something in the comments. Oh, hi Daniel. Write something in the comments. Leave me a email. All that info is in the video description. My Instagram is there for updates and whatnot. But yeah, thank you very much for joining me. And I hope you feel nice and refreshed and restored. And our next class will be on Wednesday at 7 p.m. I'm not totally sure what's in store for there, but will be a more restorative focused class there as well. So again, thank you all so much for joining me. Have a wonderful rest of your week, and I'll see you next time. Thank you. Peace.